These are our two best choices. Hey everyone, I'm John and welcome to Clear Discussion. Today I want to go over some of my opinion on the current state of politics. Now, very polarizing topic right there, I know. But I want to give my perspective because I do think a lot of people feel this way. And I think if we can vocalize how we feel about it and interact with those who we disagree with, overall it's going to have more of a positive impact than just saying, I'm Democratic, I'm Republican, I'm liberal, I'm conservative. If we can kind of hone in on these things and discuss them further with each other, I think it's going to be a net positive impact. And that goes into, the thumbnail right there. I've seen a lot of stuff lately in the news where it's Biden falling down, Biden having slip-ups in his speeches or just press conferences or whatnot. And it seems to me that it's either we ignore it or we're kind of like, we as in news, or we're kind of like, he's a buffoon. Now, have whatever opinion you want to have. In my opinion, this guy is a little not there. He's 80 years old, so keep that in mind. It's not unheard of that he's going to have some level of cognitive decline or straight up, forgetfulness, senile, whatever word you want to use. It's not that crazy to think of that this could be happening. And for people pointing it out, I feel like they have a point. Going into the other side of it, you have Donald Trump, who right now, I don't know how much, but he's got a lot of legal proceedings going on. Take that as you will. These are our two best choices as of right now, based off of people's opinion that I interact with, and it just seems the news media in general. It's probably looking like between those two. Maybe it won't be. Maybe this video is going to be 100% wrong and it's two other people. Who knows? But as of right now, which is September 20th, 2023, it looks like that's going to be the case for 2024 election. We'll see. Other thing to keep in mind, Trump himself is, if I'm not mistaken, at least mid-70s, if not late 70s at this point. So now we have two guys who are both at least 75 plus, who are our two at least most popular or most prominent politicians who will probably be, one of them will probably be the next president, or still president. It's crazy for me to think. I'm 24. Now, I don't think most 20-year-olds should get into politics or run for office because there's just not enough life experience, in my opinion. Some people are exceptional and will exceed, based off of having lots of life experience, overall being a very solid and intelligent person, and just playing your cards right. There are exceptions, obviously. But at the same time, I don't think someone who is 70, 75, 80 should be running the country as the president. That doesn't make sense to me. How is this, I don't want to say allowed, but how do we not have, a deadline of, okay, bro, we probably should get you out of here. There's so many older politicians, then it makes me wonder how we got to this point. The obvious answer would be no term limits. This is true. And for that reason, I think there should be. Just look at being a president. You can only be a president for 2 full terms, 8 years total. Obviously, there's some exceptions historically, but for the most part, that's it. So if we do that for the person who has probably the most powerful job, or at least one of, in the world. Why are we not doing it for the people, not in that high of a position, but still in the same category as very prominent or very powerful politicians? Why are they not getting the same treatment as them in terms of smaller time in their actual role? I don't see a big negative to it. You might lose out on a handful of really, really solid and really good politicians, good people, who maybe in the long run can do more good if they have several consecutive terms. But at the same time, you're losing all the people who would have a negative effect by staying in for an excessively long time. You know, if I'm not mistaken, to be the president, you have to be at least 35 years old. Why is there no age limit? Why is there no end limit to that? You have a youth, for lack of a better word, limit, where you have to be at least 35. Why is there no cutoff for how old they have to be? Seems like there should be, because the argument could be made back to the younger side, where it's like, well, say you have someone who's 32 and a super solid person, a great politician, really knows their stuff, and because of that rule, they cannot even try to become the president. Okay, that doesn't seem fair, especially when we got someone who's 80 in there, and the other guy who is trying to get back in is at least 75. That's kind of crazy to me. Well, how did it get to this point, you know? And I like having political conversations with people because you actually get to know what their opinion on stuff is, rather than, just being friendly and like, oh, yeah, because a lot of people will be like, well, I don't want to talk about politics. And most people answer to that is just like, oh, okay, no worries. Why, bro? Like, I'm not going to bash you. I'm not going to hate on you for disagreeing with me. It's good that we disagree. We can feed off each other. You have a different perspective than I do. So how you feel on a certain topic, especially if it's completely opposite of mine, is going to be useful, because then we can bounce ideas off each other, and maybe we can have more solutions to our societal problems. I would argue that this trend of older politicians having significant prominence as they are still getting older is not a good thing. I don't want someone who's mentally not there running the country. I don't want someone who's a great grandfather running the country, not because of the fact he's a great grandfather, because of the fact that he's pretty dang old. If we can't allow someone who's not even necessarily young, 35 isn't a young boy anymore, how are we allowing someone who's 80 to stay in that position? That's just my perspective on things. And I think it's one of the issues that doesn't get enough traction. It's happened a little bit more with Joe Biden and Trump. If I'm not mistaken, I think Trump had to take a cognitive skills test at some point in his presidency. I could be wrong, could be misremembering, but I feel like that was the case. And then you have Biden, who seems like he's having some cognitive issues as well. And these are our two best bets. I don't really like that. I would prefer if we could have some young blood in there, but I don't have the perfect solution either. The term limits make sense to me. Having age limits, someone might be like, well, that's ageist. Well, technically so is saying you have to be 35 to be a president. That's technically, bringing age into a factor when it shouldn't matter per se, if your argument is in favor of older politicians staying. Just something to think about. Keep in mind, this is just my perspective on things, and I'm sure there's a lot of political issues that we would disagree on, but that's kind of the point. If we can talk through these, if I can make this video and I can get comments back saying, well, here's how I feel, and however long that comment is, and we can have a back and forth, that's a positive, rather than, well, I don't like what John's saying, so bleep him. Bro, let's have a conversation. Tell me how you feel, tell me why you feel it, and I'll do the same right back. And then we can hopefully work on solving the problems. So that's the video for the day. I know it's a little different, guys, but hopefully it's a good one for you to hear. And let me know what you guys think about this issue and others as well. I want this to be another kind of topic area that I can have conversations about and hopefully work off of each other as well, where someone says, well, what if you talk about this, or what if you talk about this issue? I'm happy to do that, because I truly would like to know the solution to some of these issues. So that's the video. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, the like button. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good day and have a good week.